Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Permanent Record Podcast. I am Sarah, and with me here, of course, is...
Dr. McBeard.
Oh, really? Oh, that's not who I thought was here.
That's two things that I've done in the time since we took a break for the holidays, Sarah.
Okay.
I have started to grow this beard out.
Yeah.
And I got my doctorate in growing beards.
Oh, really?
So I'm now Dr.
McBeard.
McBeard.
I see. All right.
Yeah, it's Sarah and Dr. McBeard with you here for the Permanent Record Podcast.
All right. Well, I guess, yeah, Dr. McBeard.
Let me just get my beard comb for a second here.
I hope that this is not going to interrupt the episode too much as you stop to comb your beard, as you do so many times throughout the day.
Let me slip the comb into my pocket so I'm not tempted to use it, because if I see it, I'll want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about combing this beard, Sarah.
It's hypnotic for you, isn't it?
Our niece Grace says that I'm self-soothing when I do it, that it makes me feel good, and I just do it because of that. It's a psychological thing, I guess.
I guess it is.
But yeah, look at this big white beard.
It's a thing of wonder.
It's crazy.
I wonder about it anyway.
I forget who it was. Somebody, it was either Eric or Craig from the Pods and Sods Network mentioned that I look like I'm in a band with Kurt Smith.
Well, wouldn't you wish you were? Yeah, wouldn't that be a nice thing? But no, you're here with me, and we are going to talk some music. I am excited to talk about this album with you. I am excited to get back to the swing of things.
The swing of things?
Yeah, after spending like most of the year last year, it seemed, discussing Scoundrel Days. I'm happy to move on to another album to discuss. But before we do that, we've got a few other things we want to talk about, of course.
Yeah, so we did want to say thank you to all the folks on social media who were interested in receiving one of our very cool, very sweet-looking Permanent Record Podcast magnets.
Right, which themselves were a gift to us from one of those aforementioned Pods and Sogs guys, Eric Miller.
Yeah, that's right. Eric Miller from the Pods and Sods. He was kind enough over Christmas. He hooked us up with a bunch of magnets of our own show.
Right.
So we put those on Facebook and said, hey, if you want one of these, let us know.
And boy, did they ever let us know.
Yeah, we had like a nice turnout. I was impressed.
Yeah, people wanted them for their refrigerators or I don't know what else, magnetic surfaces, hopefully not computers. But so you got to send those out to people, and then we got to see them out in the wild. Yeah,
because people were posting the pictures when they received them. So that was cool. You know, Sarah, since they were magnets, I threw a gift card in with each and every magnet in the envelope, gave everybody a gift card, because I knew by the time it got there, it'd be depleted because of the magnetic field rubbing up against that black strip. So it didn't cost me anything. I just sent everyone a worthless gift card. I also threw a little sticker in there,
Okay, and the sticker was fine because it didn't affect the...
the sticker was fine.
The magnet didn't affect the sticky surface.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody who was sharing their pictures of their refrigerators on Facebook and on Twitter with our little symbol there. Yeah, so that made our day. I put it up one night and then I went to sleep. And the next day we had like 11 or 12 requests already. And I really didn't think anybody was going to really care.
Yeah.
So it was very nice of people to show an interest and to help support the podcast.
Right. And it is a beautiful logo. Once again, we got to give props to Mr. Andrew Dineley, our good friend. Yes, indeed. He just made the most beautiful little logo for us. And I love seeing it. Anytime I can see it, I'm very happy.
Well, you probably enjoy the fact that I got it tattooed on the side of my head over the holidays. That's the other thing I did over the holidays.
Yeah,
I got the logo tattooed on the side of my head and started to grow this big beard.
Yeah, you were quite a sight right now.
Yeah, my full name is Dr. Tattoo Beardhead.
Dr. Tattoo McBeard.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we're going to mention Andrew Dineley in today's discussion. So if you're a fan of Andrew Dineley and his podcast, Art on Your Sleeve, which seems to be on hiatus.
Okay. But there's still a lot of good stuff out there. If you haven't found it before, go back and listen to it now, or go listen to it again.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Talking all about design and artwork for all the records that we all know and love.
Yes.
But he's going to come up in my notes today.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's a little tease to keep you folks around. Oh, you know what? And if you like Sarah and I, there's an episode of Art on Your Sleeve that contains exclusive Permanent Record Podcast mini episodes.
Yes.
It's an episode of the Permanent Record Podcast that you can't get from us. You can only get it from Andrew.
Right.
On his podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, so check that out if you have not. The other thing I wanted to mention before we get started, man, I thought this was going to be a quick intro, and with all my nonsense, we're already like 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, who could have predicted that?
Who would have thought I'd be so chatty? I'm a chatty Cathy.
You really are. Chatty Cathy McBeard.
Yeah, there we go. Chatty Cathy Tattoo McBeard.
Yes, right.
Doctor, if you
Doctor.
please. People are going to think I'm drinking. It's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm not drinking. I'm a teetotaler. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to mention was in our last episode, we took some time at the end of the episode to go over some of the cool records and CDs we got for Christmas.
Right, yes.
But one thing I forgot to mention that I'm very excited about, it's right here in front of me, well, to the side of me, is that Sarah hooked me up with 2 big tomes. One that is the Billboard Hot 100 chart for every week of the 1980s. Mm-hmm. And then the other book is the equivalent Cashbox chart for the entire decade of the 1980s. Now I have access to all the chart knowledge that Jackie Clary has access to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to go crawling to her every time I want to know something. Like, I can go on the internet and I can easily see on Wikipedia that, like, I don't know. I'm just going to say this. People peaked at number 12. It didn't, I'm sure. But now, I would have to say to Jackie, like, oh, what week did it premiere in the chart? And where was it when it premiered? And then how many spaces did it jump in the second week? I don't even have to ask her now.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun tracking the progress of Love on Your Side this week in
very
here.
good.
Because I actually didn't even know that Love on Your Side did almost get to the top 40 here in America.
Ooh, spoiler alert.
Because as we'll see when we get to it, I didn't really have this album when it was released. I came to it later. Mm-hmm. So I just assumed it was a failed single, but it almost got there. But anyway, thanks.
By this much.
Yeah. Oh, hey, and one last thing. Before we get started on the episode, we got to mention that we were just invited and had the pleasure of joining our friend, the Sly Dog.
Oh, yes.
On his podcast to talk about the best albums of 2022.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun on the Sly Dog Music Cast, which is now out and available in the world for you to listen to. We had a really great discussion with him. He shared his top 10 albums of 2022, and then we kind of went back and forth sharing our top 10 list. Yeah, that was really, really fun. Took a long time, but it was worth every minute. We really enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's much younger than us, so he's very polite to us old people. He humored us as we tried to convince him that Men Without Hats is one of the best albums of 2022, which it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I learned a couple bands from him that I had no clue about that I really, really dig.
Yeah. It was a good opportunity to get exposed to some music that we don't normally get exposed to because we're just kind of, like you said, stuck in a rut, with our old ways. We're living in the 80s, living in the past, and this was a good opportunity to branch out a little. So check it out. Sly Dog Music Cast.
Thank you, Sly Dog. As I called him on social media, he is the slyest of all possible dogs.
Yeah, I like that.
So speaking of living in the past, Sarah, we are going to journey all the way back 40 years, almost 40 years to the day.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to it.
I know.
And this year is going to be great because I think for this whole entire calendar year, we could just do albums that are turning 40.
We really could.
Going to kick it off here talking about one of my most beloved albums of all time. Hopefully it's one that you guys like too. Sarah's wearing I see the Thompson Twins logo on her T-shirt across the table from me. I'm wearing a Tom Bailey science fiction shirt. We've been living in a Thompson Twins world for the past week, getting ready for this. I'm excited to talk about an album that we here in America are supposed to call sidekicks.
We are. It's America, in Canada, and I think Australia. They call it sidekicks. I'm not sure why. They didn't think we could handle the the official title, the British title, the real title. Yeah.
Well, Sarah, we Americans were very lazy, and we don't like to move too quickly. The label probably said, quick step. Americans are not going to like that.
No.
They're sluggish.
Right.
Let's just call it sidekicks because, Americans love sidekicks like Tonto and Robin. So they probably thought that would appeal to us. But for most of my life since I was aware of it, I have referred to this album by the proper British name, Quick Step and Sidekick.
Okay.
So yeah, let's just jump right into it. This is a great one. I'm really excited to talk about Thompson Twins, Tom, Joe, Alana. This is the first time the Thompson Twins was just Tom, Joe, Alana.
Right.
And we're going to get into it. So let's do like the very basic information about this album, release date, chart stuff,
Right.
all those good things.
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to tell you is that it was released on February 18, 1983 in the UK. And I want to thank you for getting me that information because I looked everywhere and I couldn't find exactly what day it was released.
Oh, yeah, I did find that on the BPI website.
Yeah, so that was very good to find out. This was the third album released by the Thompson Twins in the UK, but it was only the second album released in the United States. And the first release in the United States wasn't even the same as any of the two that were released at the UK, which is
No,
really
it was not. I
confusing.
didn't know that for a long time. But
Yeah.
that first U.S. album is called In the Name of Love,
Uh-huh.
and it features mainly songs from their album Set, but it's got a track or two off of their first album, A Product of Participation.
Yes, so that's a little confusing. We got a lot of confusing stuff with the Thompson Twins, apparently in America. And then, of course, the lineup, too, has changed. But before we get into the lineup, let's go again with some more chart information. What do you have for the chart information?
Chart information. I have the album reached number 2 on the UK albums chart and was certified platinum by the BPI on January 10th of 1985. So
Oh, wow.
It took about 2 years for it to be certified platinum, so that's really good. It had a very impressive UK chart run. It was on their chart for 33 weeks.
Wow, that's over half the year.
Yep, it was on the chart between February 26th and October 8th
Okay.
at various numbers. And it peaked at number 2 on March 5th. So it took about a month for it to peak. Unfortunately, it was kept from number 1 by Thriller.
I wondered if it was Thriller.
Thriller kept the album from number 1. Thriller was at number 2. Thompson Twins was at number 12
Oh.
the prior week. Thompson Twins jumped from 12 to 2,
Wow.
but Thriller jumped from 2 to 1, dethroning an album that we talked about on the podcast a few years ago,
Okay.
Colin Hay and the Boys, Men at Work, Business as Usual.
Oh, yes, that's right. We did start off one of our earlier years with Business as Usual.
Yep. So that album was number 1. It dropped to number 3.
Okay.
So your top 3 at that time in the UK is really, really strong. Men at
Oh,
Work,
for sure.
Thompson Twins, and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Thriller. I'm sure you have the US.
Yes, on the Billboard chart, it did get all the way up to number 34.
At number 34 for 3 weeks
Okay.
in April of 1983, and it spent 6 weeks in total on our US chart.
All right. So it was not on there quite as long, but hey, that's still not too bad, especially, this was the second real album we got from them.
I'm surprised it wasn't a little better because Lies was a successful pop single
Yes.
here. So I thought maybe it would have been on the chart for more than 6 weeks, but evidently not.
No, but 83 was a really big year for music, so lots of things coming and going. So let's talk about other countries that it charted in. So coming in at 85 was Australia. That was the highest.
Australia does not want to embrace Depeche Mode. It does not
No.
want to embrace Thompson Twins, at least at this point. As usual, I've got to point the finger of blame at our friend Terry Kemp.
Now, here's the thing. We just talked about Men at Work. This was Men at Work's year. So I think that probably has something to do with it.
Oh, they were not open to any other band other
Yeah,
than
they're
Men at
like,
Work.
we're just only going to listen to
Exclusively
Men at Work
All
all
right.
the time. And in the Netherlands, they got to 47. In Sweden, they got to 27. In Canada, just one better at 26. And in New Zealand, which is where Alana is from, by the way, they got up to number 7. It was really, really well received in New Zealand. And in fact, it made the New Zealand year-end album list for for 1983, coming in at number 23 for the year.
Ah, very nice.
Australia blew it off, but New Zealand did not. So,
Yeah, that's quite a difference.
Right.
We as Americans are trained to basically consider them as like the same place.
Yeah, even though
New
they're like
Zealand
1,000 miles
Yeah,
apart. Yeah.
And so I'm always shocked when there's a drastic difference between the two places.
One other little year-end tidbit that I found, the number 1 magazine, which had just started publishing in 1983, unfortunately not till May, so I didn't get any early stuff for Thompson Twins from that. But at the end of the year, they did, number 1 album of the year in number 1 magazine, and Quick Step and Sidekick was voted number 20 on that list.
Oh, that's strong.
So that was
strong.
really pretty good. I was impressed.
Very cool. I just very briefly want to just talk about how we got to this point in the Thompson Twins' career.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens before this, but I don't want to go too in-depth into that chaotic time of the founding of the 7-piece band. The Thompson Twins. But just to give you a gist of how they got here, here's a very brief history of the Thompson Twins to this point. They formed as a 4-piece band in 1977 Sheffield. Again, that
Sheffield.
wonderful place.
Yeah.
That is just the musical
Mecca.
mecca of the world. Formed as a four-piece. Only Tom, no Joe, no Alana at that point. Tom, who was trained as a musician, was writing most of the music, playing bass, oddly enough, and singing. So then in 1979, all four of those folks quit their day jobs and they moved to London to become squatters and to focus on music. They were staying on Lillyshaw Road, Clapham, when they met Alana.
Okay.
So she was living nearby in another
She was squatting
disgusting,
somewhere else.
terrible building, I'm sure. All these people living illegally and
Stealing electricity from their neighbors, etc.
And so they meet her. She's in another band whose name I can't say on the podcast.
Okay.
And that seed is planted. So 1981, they welcomed 3 new members, including Joe Leeway.
Yes.
And then later that year, after the release of their first album, A Product of Participation, Alana joins the band.
Okay.
She replaces another woman who was playing saxophone for them. She comes in and she takes that spot.
Not playing saxophone.
No, I believe she did play saxophone at that point.
Oh, did she? Okay. Oh, awesome.
And then in 1982, the band had a #1 U.S. dance hit with In the Name of Love, which I think was helped because it was on like the Ghostbusters soundtrack or something. I think that was the first time I ever heard it.
Really?
My friend Mike had the Ghostbusters soundtrack. That song was kind of outlier on their second album, Set, because it was a showcase for the new synthesizer that Tom had acquired, and because it was really just a creation of the core trio. I mean, it was really a creation of Tom, but Tom, Alana, and Joe were the ones that were really involved with that in some way. And because of that, Tom sacks everybody from the band, and the trio headed to the Bahamas, as you do.
As you do, right.
Well, must be you're squatting in a house and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And you somehow can. And they begin to work on new material, which is ultimately going to become this album, Quick Step and Sidekick.
They did talk a little bit when they went down to the 3-piece about changing their name to another, like the Bermuda Triangle or something. That never got around to that. I think they were a little worried at first that it was going to be confusing for folks because they had, this band was so big and now it's only 3 people. But guess what? Another band in Sheffield did that very same thing. They worked out all right too. So, yeah, something in common with the Human League.
So this time period I have a great affinity for because it's a band that was very unwieldy with lots of guitars and things that I had no interest in, suddenly realizing, oh, hey, we really need to embrace synthesizers and drum machines. So to me, it made total sense. But there was a quote, Tom Bailey's famous quote.
Yes.
And I'm not sure it's famous to anyone else, but me and my group of friends loved this quote. We saw this feature on the Thompson Twins in 1984 on USA Network's Night Flight. And they did a little 30-minute block on the Thompson Twins, and they showed about 6 or 7 videos, and they had interviews with the band. And they had a quick interview with Tom where he talked about the state of music at the time. And we thought this was the greatest thing we ever heard. We totally steal this quote from Tom and use it. We had a band, a little Casio keyboard band that we called the Rocket Dudes. This quote appears on every Rocket Dudes cassette that we would record because it became our motto, even though Tom Bailey said it. And yesterday I dug out my old VHS cassette.
Yeah.
I plugged in my VCR and found the little quote on the tape. And I recorded it from the TV on my cell phone. So this doesn't sound very good, but hopefully you'll be able to make it out. This is Tom Bailey commenting on the change of direction for the Thompson Twins.
I think if you look at music in general, it has to be said that, whether you like it or not, the guitar is becoming less and less appropriate. And the synth is becoming more and more appropriate.
The guitar is becoming less and less appropriate, and the synth is becoming more and more appropriate, which became the motto of our 80s for me and my friends as we embraced every synth pop band that we could discover.
This explains a lot, doesn't it? all of you people out there that wonder why does Brian hate guitar so much, and he's always complaining about them. Well, because Tom Bailey said this thing, and he just he just grabbed onto it with both hands.
Yes, I did, because I love Tom Bailey.
Yes, well, he's a lovable guy.
Let's hear it one more time, just in case someone missed. It's hard to hear, so you probably have to get in the right frame of mind to focus on it. We'll play it one more time.
Okay.
I think if you look at music in general, it has to be said that, whether you like it or not, the guitar is becoming less and less appropriate. And the synth is becoming more and more appropriate.
That's good stuff.
Words of wisdom from Mr. Tom Bailey.
And I have a little bit of a follow-up on that topic of, kicking out the guitars.
Oh.
Yeah, I found a little article in a magazine. It was like a fanzine, actually, called Rave Up. And it was issue number 6 from 1983. Nice conversation with the 3 members of the band. But someone from another magazine, I guess it was like a press conference or something, I'm not sure, but they voiced their concerns about the lack of guitars on Quick Step and Sidekick, which leads to a lively discussion about all kinds of things. Yeah, Tom says, guitars sneak onto one track, and it's really boring. They took 4 hours to do something we could have done in 7.5 minutes. I love that, 7.5, not 7 or 10, 7.5 minutes. And then Alana chimes in and says, guitars can be played really well, but we've had several years of having 2 guitars and everything we write having to do with those 2 guitars. Almost everything that can be done brilliantly on a guitar has been done already. It's not new. Whereas synthesizers are new. With technology, there's more sounds, more differences come out. They were all about the synthesizers.
I love it. It reminds me of when we talked with Venus Hum, and Kip from the band said something about how synthesizers will always sound like the future to him, regardless of when the synth is from or what year it is. That synth will sound like the future. And that's sort of what Tom and Alana are expressing there.
Yeah.
Do you know which song on the album has guitar on it?
Off the top of my head, I cannot think of what song on this album has guitar in it.
I believe it's Watching.
Oh, okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, the Thompson Twins are pretty much in this period of time known to the U.S. as the second British invasion. 1983 was the big year of, lots of bands from the UK making their way onto the U.S. charts. And there was a big article in Rolling Stone magazine at one point.
I think even Time magazine did an article on it.
It was a big deal.
The two bands that they focused on were Culture Club and Eurythmics, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And of course, Duran Duran would be a part of that too.
Right.
So Thompson Twins, they were there too at that time, making hits in the United States. And I found a CBS News article from, I think it was 2013, so about 30 years on, where they have a quote from Tom about this. And he says, I must say at the time, I had no sense of being part of any invasion, second, British, or otherwise. He says, we were doing our work, which certainly focused on delivering success in the charts for new synth pop, but we had no real sense of how important the U.S. market was and how central to our story it was to become.
Wow. Yeah, because I think ultimately they go on to sort of be more successful in the U.S.
Right.
When they sort of get away from this synth pop sound, the U.S. really embraces it, and they lose a little bit of that British following, I think.
Yeah, it was interesting. And within the Name of Love doing better in the U.S. than it did in the UK. That was another, early, we embraced them early, at least in the dance charts.
Yeah, In the Name of Love was a #1 dance club hit here in the U.S. It didn't hit the top 100 on the pop charts. I checked today to make sure, which is crazy. A song hit #1 on the dance charts and didn't even make the top 100.
Yeah, and it's not like a super, it is a dance song, but it's obviously quite a pop song in my ears, and I don't understand that at all.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
We just mentioned how their sound is going to change from this album to the next, to future days. The crazy thing about the Thompson Twins, and we don't have to talk about this in any great detail, is just that no 2 Thompson Twins albums sound alike.
That's right.
They never get into the rut of a Thompson Twins sound.
No.
They get into a little bit of a rut with Close to the Bone. People think that's sort of a boring album. And there are songs on it that I really enjoy. But I can understand listening to that album. It's basically a rock and roll drum album.
Yeah.
There's no cool percussion.
Yeah.
Everything is like 4/4 time.
Yeah.
Basic drum patterns. But no one album sounds like what came before it.
Right. Tears for Fears is like that too.
Yeah. All right, so they go to, where we say, the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And let's just talk about the recording of the album, just some basic information about who's working with them, what's going on.
Yeah, so they went to, I believe it was Compass Point Studios.
It is.
Who did they get hooked up with as their producer?
They start working with Alex Sadkin, who was the head engineer at Compass Point Studios, and he worked alongside Island Records boss Chris Blackwell on many of Island Records projects, and the most famous one, I'm led to believe, is the Bob Marley and the Wailers album Survival from 1979. That's where he sort of made his name.
Okay.
So for Island Records, he produced a number of artists that everyone knows: Grace Jones, Marlene Faithfull, Robert Palmer, who just had a birthday last week. He's passed away, but would have been his birthday. And for other labels, he produced bands like Talking Heads, Jay Giles Band, Duran Duran, Simply Red, Arcadia, Paul Haig. So he worked with a lot of people from this era that I think people who listen to our podcast probably enjoy. So odds are you have something that he produced in your collection.
Yeah, that's interesting. Quite a range, too.
Yeah. Sadly, he passed away very, very young. He was only 38 years old.
Oh, no.
And he was in a motor accident in Nassau. He died in that accident. He had just completed production work on Boom Crash Opera's self-titled 1987 debut album.
Oh, wow.
Which is a band that we really enjoy.
Yeah, it is.
It's one they have. I just looked them up. I did this in the past a couple years ago. I looked up Boom Crash Opera.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, everybody gets back together. I want to see if they did. And they did. They got
did
back.
they?
They got back together like in the 2010s, and they have some new albums out. They have a number of albums that we don't have. We have their first two.
Yeah.
Boom Crash Opera and These Here Are Crazy Times. But if you have like a streaming account somewhere, check to see if that album, These Here Are Crazy Times by Boom Crash Opera, is on there. And if it is, give it a listen. That is a fantastic album.
I love it too.
Yeah, every song on there is great.
Yeah.
And the first song, Onion Skin.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I was obsessed with that song. I played it on my radio show, and then, or that's where I discovered it. It was in rotation at the radio station, and I just played it, and it blew my mind. I went back to my dorm, and I just kept playing it over and over and over and over. It drove my roommate crazy.
Yeah.
That's a great album. So I was surprised to see that he worked on that. I didn't remember his name being on that first album. And I did also notice that Duran Duran's song, Do You Believe in Shame, was dedicated to him and a few other people, Andy Warhol, and also dedicated to Alex Sadkin.
Oh, my goodness.
Another great thing about the time period of the Thompson Twins is that we have a bunch of Cure connections.
Oh, yes,
Some of them,
we do.
Some of them involve the actual recording of the album. Some of them are the tour afterwards and things like that. So can you name someone from the Cure that is involved with this album?
I can, because I kept seeing this name as I was doing my research. It kept popping out at me. It was very interesting. Like the first credit I would often see for this band was the engineer. And the engineer is listed as Phil Thornley. And he was in the Cure.
Yeah, he produced Pornography with the band, and then I think after Pornography, Simon leaves, the bass player Simon Gallup leaves the Cure, and for like 18 months, Phil takes his place.
Yeah.
And then ultimately he says, like, I want to get back to production and songwriting. I don't want to be in the Cure anymore.
Yeah.
And luckily Simon comes back. So that was cool to see him as the engineer of this album. Did you see who plays some cymbals on this record?
I did not see that.
There are cymbals played, not drums. There are two songs where they had someone come in to play cymbals.
Yeah, I missed that particular note.
And it is Boris Bransby Williams.
Bransby.
Yes.
They put the full name there. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and he becomes the drummer for the live band. Like if you watch their live tracks on YouTube, or they had a live DVD or a VHS tape at the time, you can see him playing drums. And you could also barely make him out because they really seemed to want to hide the fact that this guy was there. But when they played live, they had a guy in the back of the stage sort of covered up almost by a board or something. Like he seriously was hidden. Except for his head, like his shoulders and head. And he was playing almost all of the real synthesizer music.
Oh.
And that was Mr. Roger O'Donnell.
Ah, yes.
Who would later go on to play with The Cure famously, and now he's back in The Cure.
I still love that picture we have from the Wild Mood Swings tour T-shirt where everyone else there looks real grumpy and he's got this big grin smile on his face. So great.
That shirt's awesome.
I know. But yeah, that's crazy. They're like, yeah, we don't want to admit that we actually have someone else on stage doing this work, but yeah, there he is.
That's one of the things that I never really thought about growing up and being into this music, because visually it was just so cool the way Joe would play the synths in the videos, how he was always like using his fingertips and playing really fast. But then as you watch these performances as a grown-up and you start to look, you're like,
wait a minute.
Wait, he's hitting keys and like there's no sound coming out. Like I think Joe is doing almost Fletch level work. Fletch may be doing more work than Joe on stage.
I think in some cases Fletch was actually playing more notes than Joe. Yeah.
And they had Roger in the back playing almost all the music. And occasionally Tom stop singing and go over on stage and play some keys.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't really bother me because Joe was not in the band for his musical
abilities,
skills.
right?
You know,
just like Fletch wasn't, right?
Right. Tom's is the main songwriter and main musician and stuff, and
so okay,
it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, we're pretty okay with that kind of stuff in general.
So let's move on to the artwork, the design, the cover.
Yes.
So what's like the best thing about this cover? Like when you look at it, what is the great contribution to the world of music, 1980s music in particular, that appears on this album cover?
I guess I'm going to have to say the new little logo.
Yeah, the logo that's on your shirt now.
Right, it's on my shirt. as I'm speaking right now. It's so memorable. It's so iconic. It's so colorful, and it's so very 80s, isn't it? With all that hair going everywhere.
Yep, it is indeed. So yeah, this is the first time we see the famous Thompson Twins tri-head kind of arranged in the shape of Australia logo.
Yeah.
And it goes on.
Australia did not embrace them.
Exactly. Well, they were mad that they copied the outline of their country.
Yeah.
So it would go on to appear on the next two albums, Future Days and Into the Gap.
Yes.
And then it probably would have continued to be used if Joe didn't leave the band.
Right.
So there was no use for it after that. But with each album after, like, this is the time when it's the most colorful and the most 80s.
Yes.
And then it's altered with each appearance. And by the time you get to Future Days, it's just kind of small and in the corner. And I think it's all in gold. It's less crazy
Garish.
colored.
Yeah.
The cover and the design was created by the company Satori, which means, in truth, that it was created by the very talented Andy Airfix.
Okay.
Our friend Andrew Dineley really pointed the way for me to learn more about the creation of this cover, because he did an article in a recent Classic Pop Magazine 1983 special, and he talks about this album cover. So I took some information from that, and I also got a few additional sentences that I found on Andy Airfix's blog.
Oh, wonderful.
Andy Airfix is a graphic designer. He has also passed away in 2018. A lot of people involved with this album are no longer with us. He's well known for his work with Def Leppard, like Pyromania. Like, I don't like Def Leppard, but that album cover is iconic.
Yes, it is.
And there's another one. I'm not sure what the album is. It has a triangle with some crazy designs in it. He designed those for Def Leppard. He did some of the later day Metallica stuff, like after the Black Album.
Okay.
And he also designed all of the album covers for Dead or Alive around the time of Nude.
Oh.
So Nude is one of my least favorite Dead or Alive albums.
Yeah.
But those album covers and those single covers are all fantastic.
Yeah, they are beautiful, aren't they?
Turn Around and Count to 10, Come Home With Me, Baby.
Now you have a T-shirt of Come Home With Me, baby.
I do, yeah. He has a blog called Bob Geldof Stole My Sunglasses, a guide to graphic design as an extreme sport. And what do you call it in comic strips when they use like special characters to block out swear words?
Oh, yeah, the, like an exclamation point or a number sign or something. Grawlix.
He writes the name Bob Geldof in that kind of Grawlix style, so like it's like a bad word.
Oh.
But you can tell it's Bob Geldof.
Oh, okay.
So he talks about the creation of this on his blog, and Andrew quotes a lot of it in his article, but I'm going to quote even more of it than Andrew did. And I hate to read too much, but this is really interesting.
No, that's fine. Read
So
away.
Stick with me. It's only a couple of paragraphs.
Gather around, children, as Dr. McBeard reads a bedtime story.
So this is what Andy says in his blog. As art director and promotional guru at Arista Records, Pete Winkleman's enthusiasm for projects was incomparable. If he had belief in an artist, he gave it 100%. He recognized how huge the Thompson Twins could be and gave them the undivided attention they deserved. There was a problem, though. Everything submitted by designers for Quick Step had failed to impress the band. They needed a strong and unique graphic identity, and nothing had come close. Pete called me, and we had a meeting and hit it off immediately. I recognized his genuine commitment to find something the band was totally happy with at all costs. He recognized my approach to design was not restricted by formal training. Therefore, I was capable of finding a left-field solution to our problem. Our connection was undoubtedly enthusiasm for what we did, and neither of us relied on precedents to influence our approach to a project. Pete showed me all the photographs taken for the album Sleeve, which had been rejected by the band. There was nothing good enough, and certainly very little that was dynamic. I asked to see the photographs that had been rejected by the photographer. I realized that the photographer may have dismissed photographs for the wrong reasons. An album sleeve is not just about a photograph. It's about a combination of elements. I did find what I was looking for in the reject pile. I could see why the picture had been rejected. The band were weirdly off-center, and Joe had been cropped in half on the left side of the shot. However, it was a great picture, and I could see that the addition of graphics would make it work. It also inspired the design for the logo, one which I still think suited the band perfectly. Creating the logo using the same colors as the basis for the graphics and using the border so that Joe's image wasn't falling off the edge of the sleeve, everything fell naturally into place. The quirkiness of the photo was retained, and the empty spaces of the original image were no longer empty. The end result looked effortless and balanced. Which is so cool. It's such a cool thought that, and it makes total sense, but, a photographer is going to say this picture is crappy and throw it away, but a graphic designer is going to see it totally differently.
That's a really, really interesting story, and I love that, you just take something that one person, one man's trash is another one's treasure, right? Like he made that work. That's such a cool story. I'm glad you did share the entire story with us.
Yeah, so it's a cover that I always thought was not as cool as Into the Gap. Into the Gap was just with the planets, and here's a little secret. I was always really enthralled with Tom's ponytail, and the fact that his ponytail was in full display on that Into the Gap cover. I always like that. Here you can just sort of see just the little snippet of it.
Not
too
a whole
much.
lot, yeah. I don't know. That picture always gave me a kind of a Band on the Run vibe, right? Because they look like they're caught in the middle of something. They're turning around. They're like, like almost like a light shone on them.
It always gave me a comic book feeling because having read comic books over the years, there have been covers where like in the foreground, there's like a really tough looking fist or a figure. And in the background, you see Superman or Spider-Man like sort of cowering off.
Okay.
Like they've been defeated.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what the Thompson Twins kind of look like. They're staring at someone who just defeated them in combat. And they're trying to escape.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's sort of what I always thought of. It was just always had a comic book connection. Plus, their hair is so crazy, and I knew that the Thompson Twins, the name, came from a comic strip, Tintin.
That's right.
So I was quick to assign a comic book related thought to the cover.
Quick step.
Yeah. So, do you have any reviews of the album from the time that it was released? All my reviews are more contemporary.
I have 3 reviews from back in the day. I was very pleased to find 3 reviews. One is pretty short and the 2 are a little bit longer. I'm happy to share them all with you.
Yeah, let's hear it. You can go first because I have 2. So
okay.
We'll go back and forth.
So my first one is, of course, from Smash Hits. I'm not familiar with this name. It's Angie Summerside.
All right.
I don't know who that is, but here is what she has to say about Quick Step and Sidekick. On this, their 3rd LP, the Twins combined some crisp Latin rhythms, subtle African percussion, and a hint of the Orient to produce a unique breed of disco pop. It's a real jamboree. They sound like extremely well-traveled disco versions of the Human League or Japan. Fun and very danceable. 6 out of 10. I was very surprised by the number rating compared to all the things she was saying. She says, lots of good things. And 6 out of 10.
Yeah, she's not saying anything of substance, but everything she is saying is pretty positive.
Yes.
So you're surprised when you hear that 6.
Yeah, 6. Just barely above average.
When she's listing the influence of the music, the African rhythms, the sound of the Orient,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that she doesn't mention funk, because to me there's a lot of funk, especially the bass,
I know.
the bass of these songs.
Yeah, I guess the closest to that would be a unique breed of disco pop. She's not able to maybe connect the dots to funk. So that's what Angie Summerside had to say in Smash Hits back in 1983.
All right, well, I guess I'm not too angry with her. So my first review is from 2008 when a reissue came out of the album, a 2-disc reissue, and this is from the BBC.
Okay, good.
I have some things in here just to set the stage that aren't specifically critiquing the album, just because it's kind of funny.
Okay.
For around 2 years in the mid-'80s, it was the Thompson Twins' world, and the rest of us were merely inhabiting it. Their star was such that they could muster both the legends old, Nile Rodgers, and new, Madonna, to play with them at the American leg of Live Aid. Such was their pulling power. It almost takes a minute to process that information. The Thompson Twins were enormous. And it was this album, originally released in 1983, that made them so. What do we hear today? A lot of production techniques fizzing around what I'm sure were originally dainty little songs. Love on Your Side is as snippy as ever. Any sensible critique of We Are Detective surely cannot happen. Although it does underline quite how important ABBA had become, as it now sounds akin to a rewrite of the Swedes' song Head Over Heels. By far and away, the best tracks are Kamikaze and If You Were Here, which allowed the ditties to actually be heard. Quick Step and Sidekick is not without charm. This reissue is beautifully packaged, rammed with memorabilia, and carries phrases you never thought you'd hear again, such as, "It all adds up to 130 minutes of the Thompson Twins," which, quite frankly, is 115 minutes longer than most people need.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. That's a lot to think about there.
It's a very entertaining review.
It is.
I despise his or her, I forget it's Daryl. I despise Daryl's attitude towards my beloved Thompson Twins.
Yeah.
But I have to laugh at the writing of it. It's entertaining and
Right.
it's a good review.
All right. very entertaining. I'll give him that. All right. So I have another one from back in the day, and this one is from Record Mirror magazine from February 19th, 1983, and the review is by a Mr. Simon Hills. He says, all this copycat disco stuff is very clever, and the Thompson Twins' Love on Your Side is a fair old pop song, but this album is about as interesting as a Wolverhampton bus station at 2 in the morning. I
guess
know.
on a Saturday it's probably interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
On a Tuesday, probably not.
I don't know where Wolverhampton is, but I guess 2 in the morning is not a good time to expect a lot.
Nothing good happens after midnight.
He goes on to say, the quality of Quick Step and Sidekick is all in the rapping. The ballad If You Were Here sounds very attractive initially with its phase synthesizer intro, but ultimately sounds facile with Alana Curry's deadpan voice failing to make an impression despite some cunning vocal crossovers from the trio. Likewise, We Are Detectives has much to the same effect, ending up like a rework of Mink DeVille's Spanish Stroll. And I meant to go look that up, and I never did.
Well, we'll do it when we talk about the song because I have a little clip of ABBA's Head Over Heels. We'll play that, and then we'll get that other song.
Yeah, so it's being compared to a couple different songs now. Much of the album's strength lies in Alex Sadkin, Grace Jones' producer, and his clever production work. But the class stops there. Lies, which is their American hit, sounds just like War's Lowrider, but has none of the vocal verve of the 70s hit. That blew me away. I like Lies and War.
That's
Low
the one
Rider?
with the really deep voice. Low Rider. Oh, yeah.
Moving on. The lead vocal throughout is hard, but carries no depth. You'll find no variation to their current hit, and the songs themselves can't belie a lack of depth, despite the attractive production work. The Americans are lapping it up, and quite rightly, Love on Your Side is racing up the charts, but the quick step is much slower than you originally think, while the sidekick doesn't hurt one bit. 3 stars. Average.
I don't know what he means about the vocals are hard. What is this? The vocals
Yeah,
are...
he says the lead vocal throughout is hard, but carries no depth.
I'm going to talk about Tom Bailey's vocals later on.
Yeah, I wanted to read the entire review because it covered a lot of interesting things. It made a lot of interesting points.
I like what he says. It's something that I've learned over the course of the 5 or 6 years of doing this show, that a lot of this early 80s stuff is disco, just kind of repackaged and cleverly dolled up.
Yeah.
So you maybe don't notice that it's disco. Love on Your Side is obviously a disco song.
Copycat disco stuff.
Yeah.
Very clever.
When he says the quality is all in the rapping, I thought he was about to compliment Joe Leeway for his rap boy rap.
No, it's WRAPPING.
Gotcha. And he's right when he says the production work is a high point. The production on this album is pristine.
It really is.
It sounds so nice.
I can't wait to talk about how well that has worked for these songs as we go through it.
There's so much more. I mean, the production is incredible, but there's so many other things on this record that are incredible. I have to totally disagree with his attitude towards almost everything.
I know. I thought you'd have a few things to retort to.
So my second and final review is from a website called movingtheriver.com, and it is Matt Phillips's website about 80s music, movies, and more.
Ooh.
So it's a good website. It's a lot of blog entries about things that we used to love back in the day.
Yeah.
And Matt says, the Thompson Twins made some great pop in the early 80s, but Quick Step, released 35 years ago this week, is fiendishly difficult to place, representing a kind of musical year zero.
Oh.
The only real antecedents seem to be Bowie, Gary Newman, and Thomas Dolby, who I can't believe is not a guest keyboard player on this album. If he is, he's not credited. The formula worked a treat on Quick Step, and it was one of the first albums I loved all the way through. Sadkin plays a blinder, adding loads of percussion, perambulating synths, and those much imitated elastic bass sounds. There were so many classic early 80s pop tunes that it's almost indecent. Just hearing the intros to Lies and Love Lies Bleeding makes me want to jump up and down like my 12-year-old self. Watching, featuring Grace Jones's hysterical vocals and We Are Detective, are also good, clean pop fun. Quick Step and Sidekick was a big hit in the UK, hitting number 2. And the band's anti-capitalist ideals were quickly waylaid.
Yeah. So yeah, no more squatting for them.
No. But I enjoyed that review because it seems like something that I myself would have written, because I spent a lot of time jumping around my room dancing to Love Lies Bleeding and the song we're going to talk about today, Love on Your Side. I'm coming from the same place as Matt. I love this record. There's no chance I'm going to be impartial on this episode.
Yeah.
And our future episodes discussing it. I love every song in this album.
Okay. Telegraph that.
Even one, there's a song in this album that I think I don't love. Like when we were getting ready to listen to it, I said, oh, well, I sort of dread having to hear that song because I do not like it. And I was driving around in my car on Friday and it came on and I was like singing along and I was like, oh my God, I love this song. I thought I hated it. I love it.
Oh, I can't wait to find out what that is.
I mean, I used to love it back in the day. I just thought as a grown-up I would no longer love it.
Oh.
But I do.
Okay, well,
So why don't we just skip to the end, folks? All 10 songs are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 100%.
All right. Well, so we're done. Can we at least find out what Rolling Stone said about it back in 1983?
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what Rolling Stone said.
And it's J.D. Considine who wrote this review. On their American debut, In the Name of Love, the Thompson Twins were a welcome alternative to the arch synth pop then rolling across the Atlantic. Working with a bubbly salsa-inflective bounce instead of the usual electronic angst, the Thompsons, none of whom is named Thompson, were as fun as they were tuneful. Their new album, Sidekicks, is fun too, and is just as likely to leave you humming. But with their lineup condensed from 7 members to 3, the band now relies almost exclusively on synthesizers and percussion, and though they've come up with an impressive synth version of a string-popping funk bass, they have yet to find an adequate substitute for Peter Dodd's chattering guitar. Consequently, most of the instrumental tracks that are locked in a percussion and synthesizer style that isn't appreciably different from late 70s disco. Still, the band has retained most of its wit, and that adds sparkle to the arrangements of Love on Your Side and The Lively Lies, and salvages a dreary Hernando's Hideaway takeoff entitled We Are Detective, yet a third song it's being compared to, take note. And in the end, Sidekicks is better than No Kicks at all. 3 stars. So 3 out of 5, and then we got 6 out of 10 on Smash Hits. So everybody's pretty much in the same, like, yeah, this is good. It's decent. It's average. It's so-so.
Yeah. He mentioned the 2 things that set this band apart from the bands that I was listening to at the time and starting to get into, Dead or Alive, and I would soon be getting into Depeche Mode and Culture Club I was listening to a lot. And it's the salsa influence. Culture Club had some of that world influence on their music, but Depeche Mode sure didn't.
No.
And Dead or Alive sure didn't.
No way.
So these percussion tracks are...
And neither did Men Without Hats.
Right. I was really into them as well. This is synth pop that is speaking to me wholeheartedly, but I'm also picking up, that these drums are completely different than the drums of the bands I've been listening to. And
yes.
So that's like a new thing for me to discover, and I'm enjoying the sound of these percussion tracks. Also, the wit that he mentions in the lyrics.
Yes.
Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. We're not getting much wit in Dead or Alive lyrics. We're occasionally getting some wit in Men Without Hats lyrics.
Yeah.
Like Living in China is a very witty song. So it's not unheard of for them. Culture Club can occasionally be witty. Thompson Twins' lyrics are very different than any of the other bands that I'm a huge fan of.
Definitely.
So it's cool that he picked up on both of those 2 things that set them apart. Mm-hmm. It seems like, Sarah, the critics are all telling me this is an average album.
Yeah.
It's probably going to get 65 total record adapters by the time we're done, maybe 70 if it's lucky. So we'll go through the songs and then we'll see what we give it.
Yeah.
So do you have before we start talking about the music, do you have a personal history with the album?
I wish I did, but I really don't have one to speak of because I actually have no idea when I finally first heard this album. This was not the first or even the second Thompson Twins album I ever heard. I got a lot of my music from you, but I think the first one that you copied for me was Here's to Future Days. And then the next 2, you made me copies of Close to the Bone and Big Trash.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Really? Wow. So you didn't have Into the Gap?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, that's the funny thing. You didn't go backwards.
You know me, Sarah. I'm always moving forward.
Yeah, right. And I could go back to my notes from when we talked about Into the Gap years ago, but I don't think I had that. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So my introduction to Thompson Twins was like 85, like full album wise was with their 85 album. Yeah. I know, at some point when we were together, I started hearing this album, but I couldn't tell you when. I finally heard it the whole way through.
Okay. That is true of me. If I'm going to do a little commentary on myself with the Thompson Twins, each album that came out, I just thought it was spectacular. And like I said earlier, Close to the Bone is regarded as probably like the low point of the Thompson Twins career. But Savage Moon, Still Waters, Long Goodbye, those are all songs that I think are awesome. So I can very much see myself like giving you current Thompson Twins music and saying like, check this out.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get you into the Thompson Twins with that current music and not going back. Because to me, it was still all awesome.
Yeah.
It just was all different, you know. They do the very typical rock and roll sound of Close to the Bone and follow it up with Big Trash.
Yeah.
Which to this day, I'm not sure how to sum up Big Trash. I was thinking about this week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to explain what Big Trash is to somebody.
Yeah.
In some regards, it's more typical rock stuff, like Bombers in the Sky.
Yeah.
Is a very typical rock song, but you know, there's just other.
But it's not.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then they're going to go like
crazy
full dance clubs,
Yeah.
90s dance club with Queer, and that's the last Thompson Twins album. But such an interesting career, such a great history of the band, and each record has something to recommend about it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm not going to say anything bad about any of these albums.
No, but you have probably a lot more of an interesting personal history with this album than I do.
Well, I don't know if it's interesting. I'm certainly going to talk about it as if it is interesting.
Okay.
But if you're listening, you may want to hit that fast forward
Hey, now.
30 seconds button a couple times as I go through this. But I just get super happy thinking about this album. And I can still put it on. I could play this album 4 times in one day and not get tired of it. Wouldn't skip a song. Turns out I thought I would, but I wouldn't. To me, my personal history with this record is wonderful just because it's so meaningful to me, but it's probably boring. I only discovered this album after falling in love with Into the Gap.
Okay.
And I still remember going to a record store in Maryland while visiting some relatives and finding this cassette. I also noticed there was a cassette called In the Name of Love, and I said, I'll get that next time. And the cassette at the time was the best way to get this album, by the way. Something that we didn't mention is that if you bought it on cassette, the whole album was on side 1.
Oh, wow.
And on side 2 were 6 remixes.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was the way to go because you didn't get those remixes on the vinyl.
Wow.
And I also have a really good memory of that brief amount of time, that brief period of time. My cousin, who I was at their house, she was dating this guy who was very into music as well. And he liked to go to the record store. And so I would tag along because I liked to go to the record store. And he was in college and knew a lot about music. So I thought he was pretty groovy. So they broke up a year or two after I got that cassette. And I still occasionally think about him because he's the person. I'm sure I would have gotten into this person anyway. He was impossible to avoid.
Okay.
But the first time I heard Howard Jones is because her boyfriend got me this Howard Jones Dream Into Action cassette.
Oh, wow.
Based on the fact that any Thompson Twins fan should also love Howard Jones, is what he said. He sent it to me for my birthday after they had broken up.
Wow.
So that was actually the last time I talked to him. So when I was a kid, I thought that was like real cool.
Well, it was. That's really a nice story.
And the funny thing I remember is when he gave me that cassette, for the first week, I seriously just listened to Things Can Only Get Better because I just wanted to hear it over and over and over. Like I hadn't heard it on the radio here yet. Like it was not a song that I had heard, and it was just so awesome. And occasionally I would let it go into Life in One Day. But then I was like, oh no, I want to go back and hear that other song.
Oh
so
my
it
gosh.
was seriously like 2 weeks before I listened to anything beyond that first song.
I'm sure we talked about that when we talked about that album many years ago, but I didn't remember that, and that's hilarious. That's so funny. Like when you hear something that good, how could you not want to like immediately find out what else is? Well, this is so great. What else is on here?
Nope, I didn't care.
You were
I just wanted to hear the greatness over and over. So, but yeah, this is probably in the top 3 of albums that make me feel happy and feel good and take me back to those days when comics and music was like the only things on my mind. I had no cares.
Yeah.
And I was so focused on the Thompson Twins. I mentioned that in our Into the Gap episode, how I was obsessed with the Thompson Twins. They were like one of my biggest bands of my life. And it's crazy. One of the things that shocked me is, as we're researching the Thompson Twins, is how many people start articles and blog posts about the Thompson Twins by saying, I haven't thought about the Thompson Twins in 25 years. There are so many of them that want to point out to you how they haven't thought of this band in decades.
Right.
I think about the Thompson Twins every week.
I believe that. I have no doubt that you do, and I think that's just fine, and that's why we're doing this, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We are doing this. We're going to talk about every song on this album. And I just mentioned that the cassette was the way to go, that it would have those bonus tracks. But another thing that we just should bring up is that for this entire 3-member period of the Thompson Twins, the 3 albums where there's 3 of them, the UK track listings never match up with the US track listing.
Yeah. What is up with that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you would Who is it at a record company that looks at the track listing of an album and says, this is no good for America?
I know. It's so particular and so bizarre. The things that they change, like why? I want to be in the meeting where they decided that, like who said, oh, well, we can't have, Lies here. We have to have it somewhere else for the UK. Like what?
Yeah, Lies is the second track on the UK track listing, and in America it was the third song
Yeah,
on side one. So I did see somewhere online that someone somewhere thinks that the US label wanted all the upbeat, fast songs on side one to hit you right away with the quick songs. So I don't know if that's true or not. But so this album is very different if you were in the UK than what I grew up listening to.
Right.
And even though I called the album Quick Step and Sidekick for my entire life, I like the British name. I'm used to the American track list.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay. So the American track list, let's just run through it now. People will figure it out eventually, but just because I have it here, I did put them side by side, the US and the UK release. So on the US release, on side one, we get Love on Your Side, Tears, Lies, We Are Detective, Love Lies Bleeding. And on side two, it starts off with Watching, same one. And then If You Were Here, Kamikaze, Judy Doo, and All Fall Out. So is that what we're going to do here?
No.
What?
Even though I just said we're going to talk about the US track listing, we're actually not going to, just on this one occasion.
Okay.
We're going to talk about two songs today and then wrap up. We're going to talk about Love on Your Side and Tears.
Okay.
But Love on Your Side had a music video. It was a single. There's more to say about it.
Yeah, Tears is only an album track.
Right.
So
we're going to talk about Tears first, even though it's track 2, and then we're going to close this episode with Love on Your Side.
So is everybody following along?
It makes no sense. U.S. track listing, but we're going to scramble it up just today. And then next time we'll do everything else in order.
According to the U.S. track listing.
Right, according to the U.S. track listing. And before someone complains to me that the U.S. and the U.K. Here's to Future Days track listing are not entirely different, that's true. There's only one difference. Here in the U.S., we got Rollover as part of the album, and I think in the U.K. they did not. Other than that, it's the same. But Into the Gap and Sidekicks were very scrambled in different orders.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to get rolling with track 2 on side 1 of the U.S. version of this album, and this is a song that I hear almost every week.
Yes.
And you can tell people why that is. This is a song called Tears.
Your best friend has moved away. Wouldn't stay another day. What's he gonna do when his words run out and there's nothing left to say? You're putting on your smiling face and you're dressing up with style and grace, but your tears, you just can't hide.
The reason I want you to tell everybody is because you're the one who pointed it out to me. I'm so dumb. I heard it for probably years, or we'll say
while.
months, to be kind to
Anyway.
me, and never picked up on it.
Yeah. So we listen to Sirius XM a lot, and we listen 80s on 8, one of the stations that's like our favorites. And they do these little bumpers, as between songs. They don't do commercials, but they'll do little promotions for their own station. And there is one, and I heard the music, and I'm like, I know that sound. I know those notes. And like a terrible imitation of it. It's probably that's what it is. Closer. It's really, really well done, right?
Yeah. I thought a goose was flying by.
Maybe like a sad cat. I don't know. But I heard those notes, much better done, of course. I was like, wait a minute. That's Tears by the Thompson Twins. It's like not even a single. They use that sound in their little beginning of one of their bumpers. And I tried to look online to find it. I couldn't find it. But they use it in there.
Yeah, they do, definitely.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah, they should play the song on that station. I know it wasn't a single, but
No, they never do play it. They play
Lies.
other Thompson
They
Twins
play
songs. Yeah, they play
I think
Lies.
Lies is the only one they play off of this album. First Wave plays
Yeah,
Love on Your Side.
right. I don't think anybody plays the other ones.
No, I've heard We Are Detective, I think.
Oh, for real?
I think so.
Okay.
Not very often, but I
No.
think I have.
Okay. Oh, that's great. All right. Yeah, but those first two notes from the synthesizers, you know what they make me think of? They make me think of the sad trombone sound.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah.
That one.
It's like very sad and
Womp,
forlorn.
womp, womp.
and it just kind of like slides down. Oh, it's very sad, which is good because the song is called Tears, so clearly it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's a sad subject.
Right.
Tears, sadness.
Now, this is not a single, like we said. This is a album cut, track 2, which traditionally, you're supposed to start your album with a really good song, and then track 2 is an opportunity to sort of pull back on the throttle, and you can slip something in there that's not awesome.
Yeah.
I think the traditional thing back in the day was, you want to put your hits at like track 1, 4, and 7 or something like
Okay.
that. But there are a number of things that raise the level of this track much higher than the track 2 on another album. Now, one factor is definitely not that slightly annoying keyboard riff that starts off the song that you were just singing.
Oh, you don't like that? I'm going to keep doing that. It makes you laugh, though.
It does. So that's not really one of the things I love about this song. But one of the great things about this track is that the entire way through it, each verse adds something to what you're hearing in terms of the music. There is audio added that you didn't hear in the previous verse the entire way through the song, and it just keeps things interesting. It's always changing. There's always something new for you to listen to. And another important ingredient is that piano sound that the song has that stands out simply by not being artificial sounding.
Mm-hmm.
It lends a certain drama. I'm going to use the word drama a lot talking about this song.
Okay.
But that piano lends a certain drama to the proceedings, much like when we were talking last episode with VHXRR, and you mentioned the organic kind of piano sound in the fray.
Yes.
And how it stands out. It's doing the exact same thing here in this song.
It calls your attention to it.
The best thing this song has going for it is that very brief, but all killer, no filler chorus.
Okay.
An amazing chorus for this song. All it is you're putting on your smiling face and you're dressing up with style and grace, but your tears you just can't hide.
Yep.
But it's an awesome chorus.
It is. It's excellent. And it's full of stuff. We've got all kinds of different sounds going on in there. But the chorus, the words, and it's wonderful.
It's simple. It's dramatic. It's fun to sing. Like, this song is not a fun song, like lyrically.
Right. Yeah.
But it's fun to sing. Those three facts, simple, dramatic, and fun, means that this chorus is going to stick with you.
And I think that's a very common quality of Thompson Twins songs. I think they are frequently known for very catchy choruses.
Oh, yeah. Even, far off in the future, when almost everyone has forsaken the Thompson Twins and they're putting out albums just for the faithful, sometimes not even under the name of the Thompson Twins. They were Babel for a while.
Yeah.
Like, there's a song called You Kill Me. Not a fun lyric, and the song isn't all that fun, but the chorus to that song is so freaking catchy.
Yeah.
And makes that song like a blast to sing.
Yeah, they're very, very, very good at choruses, I think. So the first note that I took about this song, typed out the word thumping.
Oh, thumping.
Because that's one of the big takeaways I get from this song. It's like a very insistent and deliberate drum beat throughout this entire song. It's almost like a military march tempo to it. It's very deliberate. And that word keeps coming back to me too as I listen to this song, because everything is in its place and it's there for a reason, which is kind of contrary to what you think when you look at the Thompson Twins, because they looked kind of wild and crazy. But this is like very precise and measured and deliberate. It's interesting because in the first verse he mentions, you're not dancing to synchronizing sounds, but these are synchronizing sounds. These are very synchronized. They're like very synchronized. They're very much in sync, and it's like very on a metronome almost,
Two things, if I can comment on what you
Absolutely.
just said. Firstly, you're very right that this is a very steady thumping beat, but unlike some songs, I feel like I just commented on this somewhere. Maybe it was on Sly Dog, that there are songs that have like a incessant beat that just I don't like. And this, when you point it out, I can hear it. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Bump. It has that bump, bump, bump. But
Yeah.
there, like I said, things come in with each verse, there's new stuff being added, and then some stuff goes away. They just do some tricks with the percussion that keep it from getting to be too much for me. I'm not annoyed by the thumping.
Yeah.
Because
there's
variety.
There is so much little sounds here and there that fill in. They don't overcrowd the song. They come in and out. And yeah, there's a lot of other layers here that kind of maybe don't call your attention to the drums all the time, but they are always there. They are relentless. I don't see that there's a lot of shifting. There's a few things here and there, but not a lot. That kind of ties into the chorus because, you're putting on your smiling face, you're dressing up with style and grace, but your tears you just can't hide. So we've got all this other stuff going on in the song, but you can't get away from that drum beat. But the drums you just can't hide. They're still there. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you're putting on all these little extra flourishes and little things, but the drums are always there. They're just boom, boom, boom. So that's how I feel. In the second verse, we get that low, deep, dark note on the bottom that slowly fades away, but it just kind of continues to emphasize this serious undertones that song has. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this song I think it's a great song. Musically, I think it's wonderful. I will dance around my room to this song, but this is sort of a sinister song. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
This is not a fun song, and it does have undertones that are much darker than most things on this record.
Yeah.
So you were saying all those things, that how the song is so deliberate and unrelenting. I was trying to express that same exact thing. I couldn't think of a good way to do it. I said that this song is the most robotic and the most mathematical in approach. I realize now I was trying to say what you were saying.
Okay.
Like this song does not have the fun percussion of Love on Your Side or the fun
Right.
percussion of Judy Doo. Like
It's very structured.
Yeah,
It's very much in a compartment, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not going out and sneaking out and doing other things. It's all self-contained in this piece. I don't know.
And it's funny because I was just going on about how wonderful the chorus is of this song, how much I love it. And you've been flitting around the house on cloud 9 for the past 2 weeks because Rob Rowe from Cause and Effect and VHXRR said that you are the best at reading lyrics, which I don't know what he's talking about, but you just read the lyrics to the chorus, and I mean, as you're just saying them,
Yeah.
my brain is saying, how catchy is that chorus?
Right.
It's so good. So maybe Rob was onto something. Or maybe this chorus is just amazing.
I think, it's probably the lyrics. It's not the person reading the lyrics.
Now, speaking of the lyrics,
Yeah.
I still to this day get a chill down my spine, once again due to the drama inherent in this song, from those lines, what you gonna do when the tide has turned? Well, I hope that you won't sink. Like, I seriously get this chill every time I hear that.
Wow.
It just happened today like 3 times.
Wow.
That line has always been like my favorite line of the whole album. And there's just some dramatic quality to it that has overwhelmed me for my entire life. I think it's great.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and it kind of makes up for some of the weaker lyrics of the song. I love the song, but that line, better buy yourself a silver spear,
Yeah.
that always has taken me out of the song.
It's a very Tom Bailey kind of lyric. It sounds like something he would say, but it kind of doesn't make any sense. Nobody's buying silver spears in 1983. I'm sorry. This is just not happening.
So another great part of the song is the very dramatic. I'm seriously going to use a year's worth of drama and dramatic in the discussion of this one
Okay.
song. Another part that I love is that mid-song instrumental break. It's just really powerful. And to me, when I listen to that, it totally makes sense to me why my cousin's boyfriend said, if you like the Thompson Twins, you need to listen to Howard Jones because you're going to like him.
Yeah.
The instrumental break of this song sounds so much to me like something that would have been on Dream Into Action.
Okay.
So I took a little clip, and I'm just going to play it.
Yeah.
And tell me what you think.
Okay.
This is a little snippet from the song Tears. How much does this sound like Howard Jones?
Oh, yeah. Very, very much so.
That could be right out of Assault and Battery
Yeah.
from
Yes.
Dream Into Action.
I love that. Yes, that's a great comparison. I think there's some kindred spirits going on. There's some kind of, they're drinking the same water. I don't know what. It's something.
Which we know they're kindred spirits because I
Yeah.
think Howard was the person who convinced Tom to go on Retro Futura.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. At least at this point, they're definitely buddies. Yeah. But I really like that instrumental break. To me, that was a lot more sparse than the rest of the song.
Oh, definitely.
And I really like how they kind of just pulled everything back and just let you focus on little parts of the song, little parts of the music, not as many layers. And we do get that big low note again that we got in the second verse, so that even though that's a little more delicate, we still have that undertone of kind of the sinister feeling there. Are we ready to talk about the end when we have that piano and then we just get the little bit of guero in the background and then the synths come back in? It's almost like a fake ending because then everything comes back and we get everything and more.
Yeah.
Because we get more of that amazing piano. It's just, they're really going at it with the piano. And we get some really fun synths and some horn sounds that we didn't really have before. There's so much going on. And yet we still have that relentless drum beat. What it makes me think of is a marching band that is made up of like really crazily dressed characters. They're really, wacky looking, not just in band uniforms, but it's a marching band and they're in a parade going through town. And the end of the song is them just like marching out of town into the distance onto the next town. Like that's what I hear I see in my head as I'm listening to the ending of this song. It's just like, they're just all crazy, but they're like, okay, we're leaving now. I don't know.
And the townspeople are like, and don't come back.
Probably, yeah. I don't think there are any pitchforks, but yeah, they're thinking, oh, thank goodness, these crazy people are gone.
Yeah, I do love that end. That it's very dramatic. I'm going to use that word again.
Yeah.
This song just is exuding drama. Now, I mentioned earlier that I hear a lot of funk influence on this album.
Okay.
I don't hear any funk influence on this song.
Oh, that's interesting.
This stands out to me as being immune to the funk influence.
Okay.
Now, do you hear it?
Well, I'm reading a note here that says, has a military march type tempo to it, but also quite funky.
Who wrote that note? You?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wrote that note. I had made that observation as I was listening to the song. So
really,
apparently I think in some ways it's got some funk to it. It's much more, it's not a loose funk. It's a very tight funk. It's like a very, again, precise, and it's not.
I think that enforced precision of this song kind of prevents that funk from being able to take root.
I understand that. I think it's like funk trying to break out, but it's not able to fully break out. We'll get that in other songs.
I have a note here. This is the song that most heralds the slightly sinister synth-influenced music that I would be getting interested in later in the 80s. It's the most robotic. It's the most mathematical in approach. By that, I mean that it doesn't deviate from patterns, which happens on other songs due to the funk influence. Things are a bit more footloose and fancy-free on other tracks.
Footloose and fancy-free. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. The universe for this song is smaller.
My love of this song makes me feel a little weird because I take a great amount of joy in this song. Like, I think it's fun to sing along with, and I could dance around the room to it. But it's not that kind of song, really.
That's not unlike any number of Depeche Mode songs that we dance around to that are definitely not upbeat in nature as far as lyrics are concerned.
Oh, okay, as lyrics, yeah.
Lyrics, yeah.
I thought maybe you were going to try to convince people we dance around the house to Macro.
No.
Or The Child Inside, my least favorite Depeche Mode song.
Not really, no. I'm just thinking of the song I heard on Friday, Away by the Bolshoi, which is not arguably a very pop or upbeat song. Certainly the lyrics are not upbeat, but I love that song, and I did dance around like a crazy person to it. So, yeah. I
don't think it's 100% the lyrical content that is keeping you from dancing to this. It, to a certain extent, is the regimented percussion.
Yeah.
This is not a typical dance track, drum track.
No, this could be a line dance.
But it still makes me want to dance around the room like crazy. So I found this version of this song on YouTube. I came across it earlier today.
Yes, and you directed me to it as well.
Oh, did you watch it?
I did.
So it's called the Thompson Twins Tears Live 1983 on What You Didn't Get.
Oh,
UK TV.
Okay, it's on UK TV? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it the one that's like really dark?
Yeah, it's hard to see Tom a lot of the time. But it was on TV, and it's really, really interesting because it sounds terrible. Not the sound quality, but the performance of the band is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because even though you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that was bad, he's
not quite hitting the notes the way you want him to.
There's still something to it, man. There's still something to the song. And I was like, I'm such a brainwashed Thompson Twins fan. I'm listening to this obviously terrible performance and still finding value in it.
Yeah.
And I looked down through the comments. There's only a couple comments.
Yeah.
This one guy, Groovy Doom, says, Tom keeps forgetting the words. Joe's not playing anything on that keyboard. I'm not sure Alana's mic is even turned on, and they're frequently off key. Yet this is still incredible.
So either he's brainwashed too, or there really is that little je ne sais quoi about this band that makes you want to see this live.
Yep.
Gonna do when the words run out and there's nothing left to say. You're putting on your smiling face and you're dressing up with style and grace, but you tears you just can't hide.
And Electric Eye Slide said, totally off key, but still brilliant. And it's so true.
Yeah, I went and found it and watched it myself, and I'm like, yeah, this is delightful. I don't know why. It's so good.
And it's so weird, too, because I had like a second generation copy of this thing called Sidekicks, the movie.
Okay, yeah.
I rented it and hooked the VCR up to another VCR and made a copy of it. So that's a concert in Liverpool from 1983. So it's the same year as that
Yeah,
TV appearance.
yeah.
And they do a perfectly fine job with this song. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why they were all so terrible on that TV show.
This show looks terrible too. I mean, there's no lighting on it hardly at all. I don't understand.
There's some good pictures of Boris playing the drums.
Yeah, they do get a couple shots of him, and Roger's nowhere to be seen.
He's there.
Well, he's there.
They
but
just never showed.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
the
like,
camera never-
we're not. No, don't ever put the camera on Roger.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, Tom sounds pretty bad the whole way through that song.
he just
But there's still this energy to it that's very appealing.
It is. So yeah, well, I'll put the link to that in the show notes, and
Okay.
everyone can watch it and like say, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, see
or
what you think.
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I'd like to get some other opinions on this.
All right, so that is Tears. That's track 2 on side 1. And now we're going to wrap up the discussion by going back to the beginning of the album.
Okay.
And we're going to we're going to talk about the first track. And this is the famous single, Love on Your Side.
Well, I was taught the boys need girls and girls need boys. You say that's not true. You would rather fool around than be alone with me. Well, that's alright for you. 'Cause you got love, love, love on your side. 'Cause you got love, love, love on your side. 'Cause you got love, love, love on your side. 'Cause you got love, love, love on your side.
Love on Your Side. That was the second single taken from the album, and it was the band's biggest hit to date in the UK, where it peaked at number 9 on the pop charts.
Yes, this was their first entrance into the top 10, wasn't it?
I think it was. So good job to you, Thompson Twins.
Yes, very nicely done.
Yeah, because Lies was a much bigger hit in the U.S. than it
Right.
was in the U.K.
Yeah.
As we'll learn when we get to it. But here in the U.S., Love on Your Side only peaked at number 45 on Billboard and number 48 at Cashbox.
Yeah.
And this is another one where they had pretty good success on the Billboard dance chart.
Right.
It hit number 6. This is my books here. I have my 2 chart books open
I see that.
that I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It's open to the page where this song first appeared on the U.S. charts. It first appeared on April 30th, the week ending April 30th, 1983.
Aw.
And on both charts, it's pretty close. Cashbox had it premiere at 85. No, I'm sorry. Billboard had it premiere at number 85, and Cashbox had it premiere at number 83.
Oh.
But on both charts, the week that it premiered, Lies was still on the chart, just pretty far down. Lies on Billboard, Lies was at 82,
Okay.
and Love on Your Side premiered at 85.
Uh-huh.
And on Cashbox, Love on Your Side was 83, and Lies was all the way down at 94, so it was on the
Wow.
way down. I'm going to try not to do this each and every week, these little chart excursions.
Oh,
'cause
yeah?
Maybe people don't really care, but I'm going to try to get one bit of information out of these books each episode.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not terribly concerned about you not getting value out of these books. I do like seeing you using them. They were definitely good gifts for you.
You know what song was number 5 this week on the Billboard Hot 100?
I don't.
Number 5 was a song penned by Falco and Robert Ponger, but recorded by After the Fire, Derek Commissar.
Nice.
Your top 10's really good. Little Red Corvette, Overkill, She Blinded Me with Science, Billie Jean, Let's Dance, Derek Commissar, Mr. Roboto, Jeopardy, which is not good, and Come On Eileen.
Yeah, that's
9
a
of those songs are good.
solid list.
All right, I'm going to put my book down.
Okay, yeah, let's get back to the track in question, Love on Your Side. Let's talk about how it did in other countries. This time, for some reason, I went alphabetical by country. It once again starts with Australia because Australia is the first country named and it's also the worst chart position.
Yeah, I didn't even write that one down. It was so bad.
Either way, Australia is first. It was number 80 in Australia. Ugh, no bueno. In Belgium, it was 16. Canada, 47. The Netherlands, 27. Germany, 32. And New Zealand, 9.
Yeah, kudos to New Zealand. They are fully in on the Thompson Twins.
Yeah, they are.
And I think it's interesting. I'm not sure if other people know this, but Canada is our neighbor to the north here in the United States.
I've heard that.
I thought it was funny that our chart performance for this song was so close.
Right.
It was 47 in Canada and 45 in the
Yeah.
US. I think it's because we're neighbors.
Yeah, must be. And can I just say something in general about the Thompson Twins that I love is the names of their B-sides.
Oh, yeah.
I think they do such a fantastic job with B-sides and, not just what they are, but the titles of them. So this one, I love it. It's Love on Your Back.
Yep.
So Love on Your Side and then Love on Your Back, which it's the back side of the single. So that really makes sense.
Totally does.
Yeah, I guess we're never going to get Love on Your Front, though.
Probably not if we haven't already. So do you have any reviews of the single?
I was able to scrape up one single review for this song from the time. I could not find a Smash Hits review for it. It seems like they did not take the time to review it. I don't know why, but I looked in several different issues. It wasn't there. But Record Mirror came through for me on January 22, 1983. Mr. Mark Cooper said the following: "Try as they will, the Thompsons can't quite fit through the golden door." Okay. "Like Lies, this is all intelligence and no flair. The chorus shows an indecent desire to be in the charts. The verses betray a desperate desire to remain witty and aloof. Full marks for hard work, but where's the flair?" The flair? What is this all about, the flair? And why does he say they don't have any on this song?
So the chorus is unashamedly trying to be in the top 40 charts. Is that what he said?
The chorus shows an indecent desire to be in the charts. The verses betray a desperate desire to remain witty and aloof.
That sort of idea is something I read a few times. Comparisons of this album to the Talking Heads and kind of how there's like anxiety in these songs that both bands share.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's getting that sense on the verses, if that's sort of what he's,
I
that
don't
kind
know.
of idea is what he's commenting. But
Full marks for hard work, but where's the flair?
where's the flair?
Yeah, the Thompson Twins, they're just not known for their flair. They're so buttoned up, right? So
Well, that's funny you say that because in every video and appearance for this song,
Yeah.
Tom is wearing that white shirt that's all the way
it
buttoned
is.
up.
As soon as the words left my mouth, I said, wait a minute, he actually is buttoned up.
And isn't he wearing that same outfit on that appearance?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I think
pretty
he's also wearing it on the Sidekicks, the movie, the concert from Liverpool.
Okay,
He's
just
wearing
a
the black
white
pants and the white shirt buttoned up all the way. Yeah. So they are really buttoned up.
They really are.
These guys need to
They need to loosen up
loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe have some fun with their hair. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what his problem was. I don't agree.
I as well don't agree. My review, I didn't want to show up without a review.
Okay.
So I have a review that I'm not really in love with. It's from All Music, so it's more recent. It says, the opening track on the Thompson Twins' breakthrough album, Quick Step and Sidekick, Love on Your Side, is arguably the trio's finest 4 minutes. As Baby Love is to the Supremes' Where Did Our Love Go, Love on Your Side is a blatant, barely disguised rewrite of the previous year's In the Name of Love, down to having incredibly similar lyrics and choruses. Only this song is better than its predecessor, with an even catchier chorus and a killer synth bass riff powering the whole thing.
Huh.
I myself have never, I'm not the most observant, especially when it's a band that I love, but I have never said to myself, this is a rewrite of In the Name of Love. It's definitely a song in the same genre,
Well, yeah.
By the same writer.
And there is actually a snippet of the song in there, but
But I wouldn't go so far as to say that.
they were trying to like reinvent that song
Right.
and like do another one of it.
I understand they're undoubtedly trying to imitate its success.
Right.
I don't think it's a rewrite of that song.
I never thought that. That never entered my mind. Even hearing the part where they imitate it or where they call back to it.
Yeah. So let's talk about that part.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I love it. I think it's delightful. I think it's very cute that they did it. I don't mind it at all. And I think it's helpful because when they did that song, they were the 7-piece, right?
Right.
So now they're a 3-piece. This is another way of reminding everybody, hey, we're still the same band, and this is the other song that we had. Yeah, we may look a little different now. There's not as many of us, but we're still the same people.
Okay. I really don't have a problem with it either, but I'm sort of uncomfortable that I don't. I'm pretty sure the reason I don't have a problem with it is because I was 13 years old when I heard this song.
Okay.
And I just love the Thompson Twins. But this is the first of a number of moments on this record that lean towards novelty.
Okay.
And at the time, I wasn't mature enough to subtract points from my opinion on the album because of that.
Okay.
But as a grown-up, there are some things on here that I listen to and I say, oh, if I was able to look at this objectively, I would probably roll my eyes at this.
Okay. Well, and maybe I'm doing that too. I don't know.
I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to subtract points from it.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. It's
yeah.
funny.
It's probably something that you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. But, I don't care that they did it.
Yeah, like my idea of what a pop band needs to do to be successful is whatever. It's X. Let it be equal to X.
Yeah.
And this is not serious enough for X. So, but like I said, I'm not going to subtract. Come the final episode here,
Yeah.
as we're evaluating them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subtract points for these excursions into the novelty.
Okay. It's a very big change of pace from the other song that we were just discussing as far as being very rigid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's flair, right? To me, that's flair. This guy saying they don't have any flair.
Right, good point.
That's flair. That's something unique and very funny. Yes, they're very earnest about their desire to be successful, but they're also kind of like being silly because who does that? Who puts pieces of their other songs in their songs? Like,
Right.
You don't do that. But they're like, oh, we're going to do it.
And it's not just that they do it, it follows up the line, I played you all my favorite records.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, they're really...
There's some wit.
Yeah. I think they're kind of poking fun at themselves in a way, or just being goofy, and good for them. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
All right, just curious what you thought.
I'm all about it.
So did you see the interview with Tom from, what year was Retro Futura? 2014?
2014.
Did you see the interview with him as he was doing promotional work for Retro Futura and he commented on the writing of the song?
I think it was the interview in Song Facts that they had with him.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I have notes on that.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because it addresses the songwriting process of the Thompson Twins at this time, because we were always told at the time, Tom Bailey writes the music, Alana Curry writes the lyrics, Joe designs like the lighting for the sets and the look of the band or something like that. And as the years have gone on, there have just been interviews with Tom where he mentions writing lyrics. Mm-hmm. And it's gotten to the point where I no longer know, I have no sense of who writes these words anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who to believe. He does actually talk about that here in this quote.
Yeah, go ahead and share it.
He says, this is a song quite early on in our songwriting partnership. My main memory is the fact that Alana was writing words that I had to sing, so we agreed to work on them to make them universal. In other words, it couldn't totally be personal to her, otherwise it would be very difficult for me to sing it, not just in terms about being a different person, but being a different sex. A woman's viewpoint can't necessarily translate to a man's viewpoint, so we had to be universal. And again, we figured if we get that right, then it means lots of people are going to find it resonates for them as well. So it's actually a complicated and quite dark song. It's about discovering that your girlfriend or boyfriend wants to experiment with a relationship in a much deeper or broader sense than you were prepared to do. And so it drags you into this kind of helpless feeling of being lost, hopelessly in love, but taking some kind of confidence from the fact that love will help you through those difficult situations. So it's a naive and complicated song.
Yeah, that's really something, isn't it? Like, wow, they're really basically writing this together.
Yeah. Back in the old days, I thought Alana wrote everything and Tom was just writing the music. So it's interesting to learn that. And it's interesting to hear, and I'm sure it comes up in any number of bands where a singer is not the main songwriter, but it is interesting to hear a singer say, I'm not completely comfortable singing these words. We've got to somehow change them.
Yeah. Speaking of changing the words, I saw that on Song Facts, right? The website, which has lyrics to songs. Mm-hmm. I went to look at the lyrics for this song there, and I thought, those aren't the right lyrics. And then I went to my other go-to website for song lyrics, songmeanings.com, because a lot of times people will chime in with interesting comments on the meanings. Uh-huh. They're also incorrect. Both of those websites have lyrics to Living on the Ceiling by Blancmange instead of Love on Your Side. It is so confusing to me. I'm like, what did you guys do? Why
That's
are
so
they
weird.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know these words. These aren't the words that go with the song. And then I keep reading and they're talking about Up a Bloody Tree. And I'm like, oh, that's Blancmange. That's so strange. I don't know why they got... I feel like writing to them and saying, you guys need to fix this. Apparently nobody's told them. But I finally found the lyrics on other sites. But
That Blancmange song, that's the one that goes, oh, what a feeling when you're living on the ceiling.
no,
Oh, all right.
no, I don't know that song at all.
Yeah, so this song, I have to go back and read the lyrics. I meant to do that after I read that interview, and I forgot. But to me, this song was always just about like a boyfriend whose girlfriend was not interested in him, unrequited love, and he was frustrated about it. And, I hear you laughing in the other room, and it makes me feel locked out. Like, that's how I always took the song,
Okay.
what I took it to be about. And now he's saying... that you can take confidence from the fact that love will help you through these difficult situations. I never got that from these lyrics, so I've got to revisit that.
I got to say, it didn't help me that they rewrote it from a different point of view. It's still a little confusing to me, but I think that to me, the song boils down to the lines, and I don't understand just what I'm doing to myself. I guess that's nothing new, because when you meet someone who doesn't follow all the rules, it changes everything you do. And I think that's really the crux of the song, that this person is in a relationship with someone who's doing things they did not expect. And they're like, I got to come along for the ride and figure out how to deal with this. They can do all this because I know that they're doing this with love. They're coming from a place of love. They've got love on their side, right? But it's this person singing that's like, I can't, this is really weird. You're doing this. I'm feeling this way. I don't know. It's all new and crazy. But I know you love me. There's love behind all this, so I guess it's good.
I love that you become the crux finder.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Yep, I'm adding it to my resume. As you are now Dr. McBeard, tattoo head, whatever. I'm a crux finder.
So, on a personal level, I rank this song up there with Soft Cell's Tainted Love and Men Without Hats' Safety Dance as a cornerstone of my synth pop foundation, fandom, and obsession.
Woo.
This is just... I was already on the path by the time I heard this song.
Well, sure.
I was, those songs I already knew. But this song came along and it was so good that it ensured that I'm not going to deviate from that path. This is just...
You can't even say it.
No, this. If you were to look into my heart, Sarah,
Yes,
if I were to clear this shirt away and you could see into my heart, this song is living in that heart.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
It's that integral to me, to Dr. Beardface or whatever my name is. And the one thing that hits me immediately, and we just talked about how bad Tom Bailey sounded on that last song, but the first thing that hits me when I listen to this song is that Tom Bailey is a fantastic vocalist, and I feel like he's never given credit for being a talented singer, and he really is. When he's on record in the studio, I think his voice is just wonderful. The entire catalog of the band, from Thompson Twins to Babel, was filled with incredible vocal performances. His voice has probably been one of my favorite voices, top 10 voices of singers that I've ever listened to. If you're not familiar with the later day Thompson Twins stuff, check out the songs Rock This Boat, Strange Jane, maybe even Still Waters from the album that everyone hates. Those are all songs where I think he really, really shines as a vocalist. This is the earliest on-record instance of him sounding awesome, in my opinion.
Okay, I understand that. I think he's really growing into his own as a vocalist on this album. I think the previous iterations or the previous albums that they've been putting out, he doesn't sound as good.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
I think here he's finally, really learning to use his voice in an effective way. He has when they said in that other review that he had a hard sound, I kind of know where they're coming from with that, because sometimes he sounds a little bit shouty, like the way he projects his voice, and I think that's more on the older stuff. He definitely learns to rein it in here, but it's like very, very clear. His voice, I've always thought, is like just a clear, pure kind of sound.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it other than that.
I agree with the word pure. I've always been impressed by his singing, and this is where it begins. You're right, he does sound a little different on those first two albums.
Yeah.
And, the band was just noisier, and those songs didn't call for the style of singing that we're getting on this album.
No, right. They are pretty much making a concerted effort to be more commercial here, right? That's really what's going on. They want to have a hit. They want to make some money and not live in a flat or in a squat. They don't want to squat anymore. So they're changing their sound. They need a more appealing vocal to go with it. And he's just learning to work with his voice better. Yeah, so my notes when I was taking notes on this song are very funny because I heard so many really interesting sounds in here.
Oh yeah. Oh
and
my gosh.
I was having the worst time trying to write them down in words because I can describe the sound of the sound to you, but I can't write it down. So I have there's some very quiet and settled boing sounds in the chorus. There's rat-a-tat sounds. There's these ew, ew, ew sounds. I can't even explain these now looking at them. I'm like, I knew what I meant when I wrote them down, but trying to translate what I'm hearing into words, written words, is impossible. So
the first 25 seconds to 30 seconds of the song, it's very atmospheric. It's really an incredible bit of audio. We get some rat-a-tat-tats.
Yeah.
There's 2 sections of rat-a-tat percussion in there, and there's some awesome bass sounds in there. But it's so funny that you tried to explain those with...
Yeah, I can't do it with words. It's just not easy. Little percolating sounds. And there's so much going on in this song. But again, just like the one we just talked about, it doesn't sound overloaded or messy. There's a space for everything in this song.
This song leaves even more space than the song that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Like this is one that there's a lot of open space to it, and we do get that funk. Especially with the bass line here that we talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot of other little melody lines and other, synth lines going on in here that really add some nice depth to the song. It's not cluttered.
No, it's not too busy. And that little section in the beginning that I mentioned, that first 25 seconds, is a great way to draw you into the album.
Yeah.
It's almost like what they do in the video. That part of the video is just sort of showing the set, the sheets and the rope and smoke. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what the audio is doing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a smoky atmosphere, kind of drawing you into the album. It works really, really well. This is probably, I would have to think, some combination of Tom and the producer working together on the sound of this song. And they knock it out of the park, if I can use one of my famous sports analogies.
Yeah, you and your sports. Even the drums on this, I like. There's some really fun percussion. Mm-hmm. And then there's some really good, just more traditional drum fills, right before the chorus, which I don't think we really heard any of on Tears. I feel like there's just a little more variety here. There's a lot of funny and whimsical sounds, but of course the topic of the song is a lot more serious. It's not a typical love song, right?
No.
And the words are kind of serious. They're kind of like confusion and uncertainty and stuff like that. But we have these funny little sounds going on in there. It's just really fun. Such a catchy chorus too. Oh my gosh. Who doesn't want to sing along with this?
Yeah, amazing chorus. Another super strong Tom Bailey chorus. He and I would say the Pet Shop Boys are the 2 people that I think of first when someone says who can put together a killer chorus.
Oh yeah. And going back to the vocals again, I just want to mention I really like what they do with his voice here. Some of the time they kind of double track him where he's accompanying himself, and I really like how that sounds. But I also like in the chorus when we get the whispers, "Love on your side."
Yeah.
That sounds really good. You think, oh, a whisper, what difference is that going to make? But it really does make a difference, and it's really well done.
So to my brain then and to my brain now in 2023, it's baffling that this song did not crack the U.S. top 40.
Oh, I know.
It's like another case of the Billboard dance chart being the place to look for the most interesting and the most ahead-of-the-curve sounds in the early to mid-'80s, because that's where you always had to go if you wanted.
Oh, for sure.
That's where Depeche Mode and Erasure were always charting.
Right.
And all the bands that we like, they couldn't get a top 40 hit to save their lives, but top 10 dance charts all the way.
Yeah.
So we mentioned how the beginning of the video is very atmospheric. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that video before we get going.
Okay.
This is, to this very day, a top 10 video for me.
Oh, yeah?
Top 10 music video of all time.
Oh, my gosh.
I watched this one over and over and over and over on a VHS tape that I still have. It's the one that I used to get that quote that we played earlier. I tried to watch it on that tape today, but it looks so bad that I said, I'll just go watch it on YouTube.
Good choice.
This is one of my very favorite videos. I could remember every shot. When I watched this, I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Oh, my gosh.
It's directed by a fellow named Brian Grant.
Oh, I don't think I remember hearing his name before.
Well, he's done a lot of really good stuff.
Oh.
He's gone on to do movies and TV shows, some of which are very well known. I forgot to write any of them down.
Okay.
But I wrote down some of the music videos that he's done that we all love. I'm just going to start with one that I mention every time it comes up. Every time I have a reason to mention it, I'll write it down. So Cliff Richard, We Don't Talk Anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
He directed that video.
Okay.
And here's a bunch. I tried to edit this list to make it shorter, but I couldn't.
Okay.
Queen, Play the Game, and a number of videos from Hot Space.
Oh, wow.
Olivia Newton-John, Physical.
Oh, geez, that's iconic.
The Human League, Open Your Heart.
Oh.
Kim Wilde, Kids in America.
Okay.
ABC, The Look of Love. Tina Turner, Better Be Good to Me, Private Dancer, and Typical Male.
Wow.
Typical Male, I put that on there because that's a video we talked about a few months ago when we appeared on the Giddy Carousel of Pop.
That's where she's walking around in high heels and some water and a big giant shoe. And...
Duran Duran, New Moon on Monday.
Okay.
And then this last one, I have no idea what it is, but I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it because I want to investigate it.
Oh.
Ray Parker Jr. featuring Helen Terry, One Sunny Day, Dueling Bikes.
Goodness sakes. I don't know what that is.
Helen Terry, of course, the voice from the early Culture Club albums. Big, powerful voice.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to check that out because I had no idea that she did a song with Ray Parker Jr.
I didn't know their paths crossed.
Yeah, so there's so much imagery in this video that over the years has stuck with me
Okay.
and influenced me as I form what I think is cool.
Okay.
Like my idea of what is cool is like so out of date now because I don't update it. Yeah. So to me, like having your top button buttoned and having that long ponytail and having ripped, torn sheets hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's super cool.
Thankfully, we have not carried that over into the decor of our home.
No, but a few years ago when I, just for nobody, I mean, it's just for myself, I made like a little album of like 9 songs that I wrote. Uh-huh. And when I took the picture for the cover, I hung sheets from the ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't say to myself, like, I'm going to hang these sheets because of the video for the Thompson Twins.
Yeah.
But when I watched it today, I said, oh, yeah, that's why I did that. Because
Okay.
I thought it looked awesome. And this video is why.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's awesome.
Those thick ropes that are all throughout the set look great. All the smoke, fog and smoke. That's par for the course. You have those neat silhouettes and the film movie projectors.
Yeah.
All images that totally stick with me to this day.
Oh, that's so funny. What do you think about the fact that Alana and Joe are wearing matching tops?
I'm not sure if I actually noticed they were wearing matching tops.
How can you not? You just went on about how you've seen this video so many times, you memorized the whole thing. They're almost like the vests or the pieces that go over the regular shirts. Mm-hmm. They're the same pattern. Well, that makes them look like they're backing band members, compared to Tom, because he's in the white shirt and they're in these other outfits that match each other.
Yeah.
So it was weird to me, and maybe that's where Alana got all her pent up. Well, it wasn't pent up. All her rage and resentment
for Joe.
Because I could not believe how many transgressions she committed against poor Joe.
Poor Joe.
I made a list of all of her offenses against him.
All right.
So it starts off, I believe, when he's on the hobby horse. Now we see this in silhouette.
Right.
But he's on the hobby horse. And she pushes him right off.
Uncalled for.
Yeah. And she gets on and she's, having a good time. That's all lovely.
I mean, she wanted to ride it.
Well, yeah, but that's not the nice way to do that.
Well.
You wait and take your turn. But no, she didn't do that. She pushed him right off.
All right.
So then during the second chorus, she punches him and he falls backwards. Well, okay, he recovers from that. Well, then by the end of the second chorus, she knees him right in the crotch.
Yep, I remember that very vividly.
And I was like, what? That's the first thing that I actually noticed during the video. I had seen it already, and then that part took me aback. And then I went back and watched again and realized, oh, no, she's been doing this stuff the whole time. So, and then the last one I noticed was when they do the rap section, she punches him in the face and then is shadow boxing with him. Like, she's just going at him.
Yeah, it's not just like she's punching him. She's doing like those really quick punches
that
you always see boxers do on a speed bag.
Yeah.
Right in his face.
Right in the face. Yeah.
She's nasty.
I know. What did he do to deserve this? I mean, just because they're wearing matching tops doesn't mean she has to fight with him. Ah, poor Joe.
I thought Joe was extremely expressive.
Oh, yeah.
And that he connected really well with the viewer in this video, just based on like facial expressions and like his attitude. I have that. No, there's lots of funny faces and mugging for the camera. Like even at the very beginning, I feel like the first shot we see of him, he's making a funny face, like a reaction to something that Tom might have sung. But yeah, he's very entertaining, and talk about a good sport. Getting wailed on by his bandmate. Now, I'm going to have, in the future of these episodes, I'm going to have an issue with Joe Leeway in one of their videos.
Oh, yes.
As you know, know.
I very well know.
But in terms of this video, I think he's very likable.
Oh, yeah.
And I leave this video saying, oh, yeah, that Joe Leeway is really cool. Good guy.
What do you think about their dancing?
Their dancing is incredible.
That's a good way to put it.
Did you watch the Top of the Pops performance of this song?
I did not.
Tom does even better dancing
Oh,
on that.
does he?
Yeah.
All
Like,
right.
his dancing on there is top shelf.
Okay, I'm going to have to go check that out post haste.
Yeah, I love their dancing. And
Oh,
like
my
the really
goodness.
weak punches that like Tom throws.
Yeah.
Like sometimes he throws these little
Uh-huh.
punches at the game. They look so terrible.
It makes me feel better about my dancing when I see them dancing, because I thought, oh well, if they could be on TV and make lots of money being performers out here, I guess I can do whatever I do in the living room and be okay with that. It's like, wow.
You know what I thought was the coolest, the deepest, the most meaningful part of this video
Oh
when
goodness,
I was a kid?
no idea.
And when I look at it now, I'm like, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
But
Ooh, tell me.
when Tom sort of catches the light of the movie projector in his hand,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden the projector is off because he caught the light in his hand.
Oh.
But then when he opens his hand in slow motion, the light has turned into dirt.
Oh, is that what happened there? I missed all that connection because I don't think I understood what was happening before the dirt. I only remember him opening his hand and then dirt came out, and I thought, well, where'd that come from?
Yeah, he was looking. He was standing alongside the movie projector. It was very close to the wall, so the screen was very small.
Okay.
And you could see the beam of light going, and he was standing right behind the beam of light, and he reached down and scooped with his hand. But as soon as he touched the light and scooped it up, the projector like turned off. Like, he took the light from it.
Oh no!
So-
And then it turned to dirt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well,
So-
that is symbolic.
It is. Even now in 2023, I
Yeah.
say it is a great segment, and it does look great. But as a grown-up, I question whether it truly means anything at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Boys, get into some philosophy there, but not now.
This is an awesome video. Much like most Thompson Twins videos, it's just a performance video.
Oh, yeah.
Like they never deliver to us a music video that is much of a story, really, I don't
Well,
think.
you take me up, kind of.
Oh, that's true.
They're working in the mine or whatever.
They're moving that
it was.
pile of dirt from
yeah,
here to there.
they're working hard, and they go back in the cots and stuff. There's a story there, kind of.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Sister Mercy has the story of the woman, but the
Yeah.
Thompson Twins are just sort of performing.
Right. They don't make up the story. I think the closest one we get is probably You Take Me Up.
Yeah.
I don't think this one was probably too expensive to make, since it was just a set, and they just, bought some old torn sheets and like ropes from the docks and brought those in, and
Yep.
it didn't look like it was too complicated.
But you know what? That was the greatness of that early 80s period. You didn't have to spend a ton of money to create an iconic video that looked awesome and promoted your song,
Well, right.
which this video succeeds with in spades.
Indeed.
All right, so that's the first two songs of this album. We wanted to do a short episode. We said, let's just do the background information in the the two songs. So this first episode of the year isn't all that long, and we're at 2 hours and 13 minutes right now.
Fantastic.
So really quickly, we're going to talk about the rest of the songs in the future. The next episode, we're going to carry on from now. Let me just check. I did post a little thing on social media before we started. Let people know I was turning on the mics, and if they had anything that we needed to know.
Okay.
Our friend Colby Zell chimed in
Okay.
with a song that we just mentioned, as it was a top 10 hit this week. He put a little animated GIF, Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Oh, all right.
So he's a man after my own heart right there, because
Sure.
I love that song.
Yep.
And it was number 3 the week that this song premiered.
Okay.
And Wade Kotar
Oh, yes.
put what I think is a clip from Van Halen Jump, maybe?
Oh.
Doesn't really look like David Lee Roth, but he jumps
Okay.
jumps up in the air and does a split
Yeah.
and then lands.
Maybe
I think it's Jump. Well, Wade, we appreciate you chiming in,
Okay.
but we have nothing to say about Van Halen Jump.
No comment there.
Our friend John Justice says, you didn't tell us which album. Madonna, Cargo, The Hurting, Construction Time Again, New Order.
Oh,
Well,
it's a secret.
it's a secret, but you know by the time
Well,
you
now you
are
do.
hearing this. So hopefully people will be happy that we are kicking off the new year with one of the best 80s bands you could possibly talk about.
I know.
Thompson Twins.
I'm excited. I think this is great.
I am as well. So thanks so much for joining us as we start to explore this wonderful album. And before we go, let me just remind you to take the time to follow us on social media, because our Facebook and Twitter are top drawer.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff there.
Oh, for sure.
It's the only place you can go to see what we think about the new Depeche Mode song, which is going to be out this Friday.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the song will be out by the time you hear this, so it's no point in me really promoting that right now. But
Okay.
you can go there and see what we think about it.
That's right. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all very exciting. And of course, we do have our own website too, which you can visit to get the addresses for those socials and to see the show notes and the pictures. And we're going to put a link to that really tremendous performance from the early career. And that is, of course, www.permanentrecordpodcast.com. Check that out. You'll see all kinds of good stuff there.
Sarah, 1 minute ago, the 80s Music Muse asked, is it Seven and the Ragged Tiger?
Oh.
Pyromania?
Oh.
It's not the first, but we did mention that second one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All these connections. It's crazy.
I know.
And the last thing I wanted to say is, hey, please do us a favor and leave us a review for the podcast on the Apple Podcast Store. In fact, we have a review this week, Sarah.
Nice way to start off the new year with a review.
It is. It's a really brief one, so I didn't even print it out
Okay.
to give to you. I just have it on my iPad. But in its brevity, it's also very friendly
Well, good.
and awesome.
I like that.
So it's a 5-star rating
Yay.
from Chatterack. And the review says, great show, 5 stars. This has become the official VHXRR podcast. And I love it. And all the other episodes. Thumbs up. I was so excited to get to talk to Vaughn and Rob from VHXRR because I love their latest EP, On the
Yes.
Shoulders of Giants. And I really wanted to talk to them about it, but I'm like, they're going to get tired of talking to us. Because they have, they started with the first EP and they were a new band.
Yeah.
And now they've been around, and so many people respect Vaughn and know Rob from Cause and Effect and
Yeah.
love him. VHXRR started from this little band, and now
Who are we?
Right.
Yeah. Who are
But
we?
it
We're
was-
just
it-
two schmoes out here in Pennsylvania.
But it was so kind of them to come on and join us for our 150th episode. It was a great treat, and it was wonderful to
I
get
had
to talk to them.
such a good time. I was so happy to talk with them both again and catch up with them. And yeah, I think they had a good time too. So we're very, very thankful for that and really appreciate all of you checking out their music on Bandcamp and letting us know that you like their stuff too.
So thanks to them, and thanks to Chatterack for leaving that review. We really appreciate it. And if you like Brian and Sarah, please feel free to take the time to leave a review for us, because it does help the podcast with the search engines and these
Yeah.
equations that percolate in the background behind your web
Yeah.
browser that help you find things.
Yeah.
It supposedly helps us. And remember that one week where we got like 3 reviews?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we were on like charts like all around the world.
Right. So if you like what you hear and you think other people might like it too, leaving us a review will actually help with that. So thanks again.
And thank you, Sarah, for this good conversation on Tom, Joe, and Alana.
Well, you're
the
welcome.
beloved Thompson Twins. And let's meet back here in a week or two, and we'll continue talking about Quick Step and Sidekick.
I can't wait.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
flies back to my hand. When love's last living troubadours.
Boomerang, well, your favorite band was smashing in windows and kicking down doors. Yeah.
Boomerang, it has to be said, whether you like it or not.
The guitar is becoming less appropriate and sin
It's becoming more appropriate.